explaining what is procurement. So we're talking about the business-to-business and business-to-government purchase and sales, supplies, goods receipts, everything that you share through the internet, such as electronic data interchange and integration with systems such as ERP systems and procurement systems. It consists of the e-tendering process, pre-qualification, doing vendor management, catalogue management, purchase orders, good receipts notes, invoicing, and of course contract management. Common problem that we find amongst businesses is the complexity of getting through the firewalls to share knowledge and information held in central systems. So you can see how the wall here is keeping apart corporate teams and business teams out on site, working in other offices or amongst your supply chain. What we come and do is break those barriers, and by using the Adoddle platform, you can share and connect through a secure cloud platform, connecting all of your teams, including the supply chain. So you can see from the slides there that you can see how you can easily connect it, making through and on a secure environment, which makes it easier for you to share information and collaborate through through teams internally, also with your supply chain. The next slide shows some of the systems that we have actually connected through this way. So through the cloud and through to back office systems, through hosted procurement systems. You can see these, just a number of these that we have connected to. So we connect up the data across disparate systems within our customers' businesses, including their supply chain. This data can sit in accounts and procurement systems like Coins or SAP or Sage, or building systems. So you can see there's a number of connections, and there's many more that we have connected with to exchange data such as orders, invoices, and even documents, which reduces the amount of rekeying and the admin that businesses have to undertake within their organizations. If we take a look at the helicopter view from the Adoddle platform, so we've seen what businesses have been doing and how we can manage the process. This gives you a view of how Adoddle connects the dots and enables the exchange of data. So whether they're coming onto the Adoddle platform to access catalogues through the Adoddle platform, we host catalogues online, or whether they're going to external systems that have been hosted in-house through suppliers, or other procurement systems, maybe a third-party hub that you're working with, or third-party IT systems that you're connecting to. So you can see that Asite sits in the middle, and we can connect back offices as well as procurement systems, as well as hosting catalogues that are within the platform and catalogues that are hosted externally as well. And we can connect those dots, making it easier and seamless to share information amongst your teams, your businesses, and your supply chain. If we look at the traditional buyer process, we can see that the process here is that you start off with paper catalogue. Traditionally, these were paper catalogues that you would receive and share and then browse, and that could be quite consuming. No search facility as you would with an online platform. Then you would have to pick your items, maybe on a paper based, or create an email, send that through for an approval, and then once that's approved, that's then emailed, faxed, or phoned to the supplier. And then if you have the change order process, you would need to phone up, call, email, chase that to just change the order process. Once you've received once the order has been received by the supplier, they may send out an email or a letter even to acknowledge that they will be sending out your goods. And then once you've received your goods, you get the traditional conventional delivery notes, be it a PDF, and this will then have to be keyed in to your back office systems in order for you to manage the kind of payment process. Once their GRN's input, then the invoice will be received by the supplier, and this will also need to be manually entered into back office systems. There is no auto match. This would have to be done manually by the accounts teams or by the purchasing teams. If we now take a look at the Adoddle process and how we do it online through the platform, you can see that the teams can either come into an Adoddle hosted catalog or a catalog that's been connected to external systems. They can easily browse for catalogs through the platform, search for catalog items, and on the platform they can even compare items with multiple suppliers, making it easier for you to procure your items. Once you have collated all your items, the purchase order is sent off real time. Don't need to wait around, prepare any of them, or prepare an email. It's automatically sent by the platform to the approver, and then as soon as that's approved, it's issued to the supplier, be it directly through the platform and the supplier coming onto the platform, or through an integrated solution straight into the supplier's back office system. Then you continue the process through the online facility, whether it's issuing an advance ship notice or receiving a goods receipt notes. This can all be managed through the platform without having to key in all of this manually as you would traditionally. Once you've sent the goods out, the supplier can then issue the invoice, and then we can easily have a three-way match, which is automatically matched, making it easier for you to then do your procurement payment process. So let's look at why companies do it. So you want to reduce the maverick spending, you want to take away the administration that it's taking, reducing errors. We've seen so many situations where people have keyed in orders and it's just the pennies that add up to the pounds, which means that you're forever chasing orders and matching invoices with your goods receipts notes. Also means that we've got the seamless automation of the sales and logistics process. We're getting real-time visibility of spend across the organization. It's also providing a clear audit trail of all commercial communications between supplier and the buyer. We're also maximizing the value from agreed contracts. Why do buyers use Adoddle procurement? So you can see it's more efficient electronic process. You can approve orders on the go, be it sitting at your laptop or on the go from your mobile devices. You can ensure your team members are buying what you are contracted for. So once your contracts are all set up in place, they cannot go outside of the contract limits. You can set buying limits for your individual users and of your approval limits all on the platform. It also helps ensure that you are buying from the latest catalogs with the latest prices and specifications. It also helps you to streamline purchasing approval processes, whether it be a one-step process or a two-step process. It also reduces administration work and, again, as we've mentioned earlier, purchasing related errors. It also helps you track your orders and purchases easily, and it gives you greater control over changes that are made to purchase orders. So again, you can put in approval processes around that as well. Just as an example of the dashboards that you can create and set up on the platform, this can give you a high-level summary of what's happening on your purchasing systems. It gives management a high-level overview of the number of orders and invoices being received through the platform. Why do suppliers use Adoddle eProcurement? So if we take a look at the supplier side, it strengthens their relationships with their buyers. It also improves the efficiency of the order processing, makes it easier for them to manage their catalogs. They only need to upload the catalog once with multiple prices to make it easier for them to do content-based management of catalogs on the platform, and also managing prices with their contractual buyers. Also enhances customer services through improved order tracking. It also reduces the order errors, so they are literally buying off the procurement catalog, which means, and the descriptions are all the same, which makes it easier to identify and to deliver those products to the customers. It's also got a full audit history through the platform, so they can track all orders right through to the invoice process through the platform, and also publish their catalogs easily. Just to kind of give you a quick look at how the catalogs are presented, so you can see they've got feature-rich, picture-rich catalogs that makes it easier for buyers to pick and choose their items and easily add to their orders and send through to the suppliers, making it easier for them to put their purchase order through. And we also even provide an area for you to do requests for quotations. So something that's not off the catalogue, that you can easily raise a simple form and send on to a supplier for a quote, who can easily reply back through the system, and it can all be tracked through the platform. Just to show you an example, so we've seen that there's many systems that can provide you invoices facilities. You can go to your back office systems, your procurement systems to create the invoices. If you don't have that facilities, or your back office system can't easily integrate into other systems, then we also provide you an interface to easily create invoices and send them onto your buyers. Easy to issue, easy to track the invoices. We also give you the ability to do partial invoices and track where you have issued partial invoices. This again can be configured and automatically managed through a workflow if that needs to be done. If invoices need to be reviewed, that can also be done. So what is Adoddle Exchange and why use it? So whether you're raising orders through the platform or the back office systems, it makes it easier for users who are familiar with their own back office systems to use the platform, as they would not need to go onto any external platform or another platform they're not familiar with to raise their purchase orders or to raise the invoices, and making the transaction process easy. So they're used to seeing a particular purchase order screen. We don't need to worry about that. We simply take that data, translate it, and send it on to its destination, usually to the supplier, and vice versa. Suppliers can work with their back office systems, key in the information, or raise the invoices as they would normally. We take those invoices, translate them for the supplier, and send them on to the buyer so that they receive into their back office system, which they are familiar with. Just to kind of also show you an example of how you don't necessarily have to be in front of your PCs, your laptops, to access your orders, your invoices. You can access this information whilst you're on your go, through your mobile devices, through tablets, anywhere that you have internet access. You can access your information real time. If you need to approve orders, you don't have to wait till you're back into the office. If it's critical to project timelines, you know, the goods need to be delivered on site as soon as possible, that you don't have to wait until you're back into the office system. It's at your fingertips. You can simply approve, and the request is sent through to the supplier real time. Just to kind of take a quick look at the Adoddle timeline, what we have done since Asite was first formed. In 2001, we delivered a fully integrated end-to-end e-procurement platform for the UK construction. We have been doing e-procurement since day one. It's one of our key kind of solutions. We also worked with the Hub Alliance, making it easier for other systems and third-party systems to connect without having to start the translation process from scratch. We also worked on T5, delivering an inventory management solution and making it easy to replenish stocks using barcode generated GRNs. So as soon as stocks levels were low, a message would be sent to the hub and stocks will be replenished. We expanded our Hub Alliance hub in 2006 to 2009, so we connected more hubs into the platform, making it easier for more and more buyers and suppliers to connect with each other. 2010, we delivered our mobile interface for site-based logistics, and from 2011 to 2016, we furthered our integrations with more systems such as Sage and IFS ERP system. We've also connected with BIM-based procurement. So through our platform, you have the ability to procure off models and easily order maintenance items, or if you wanted to new boilers, new doors, easily do that through our BIM model. We also delivered integration with Bentley's EB via our application programming interface, and we've also integrated with Vixen ERP. These are just some of the systems that we have integrated with. So when talking about return on investment, so from analysing the data in Adoddle Exchange and working with clients measuring the KPIs, we have realised the following return on investment findings. This includes negating the need to rekeying in data and reducing admin tasks. I'm going to hand over to Tracy for now, just to talk through how we achieve this for our clients.
Hi everyone, so I'm going to take you through a case study that we did on Laing O'Rourke not so long ago. So Laing O'Rourke is a multi-billion-pound construction company that's based in the UK. And they have global operations all around the world really. This particular case study was performed in the UK and it was around their e-procurement systems. So here we demonstrated a solution that would allow Laing O'Rourke to conduct e-business with their suppliers and integrate systems that the supply chain use. So by purchasing online, they managed to reduce processing costs for invoices, orders, requisitions, site orders, and goods received notes up to 56%. So the challenge was that Laing O'Rourke had a vision of adopting work processes to compete with the world's leading businesses. They meant businesses outside of the construction industry, and they had a goal to have all of their procurement transactions made electronic by the end of the second quarter of 2003. So you can see that our e-procurement solution has been in place there for the best part of, what's that now, 2003, 14 years? So that's how long Asite's e-procurement has been growing, and obviously as technology grows, so our solution grows. So a major step towards minimizing their purchase cycle, e-procurement allowed Laing O'Rourke to provide their customers with greater flexibility whilst maintaining control of their expenditure. Laing O'Rourke already had a coins purchasing application operating across the group. So coins is a big ERP system, an accounting system here in the UK that a lot of the construction industry companies use. And the challenge for Asite was to allow any of Laing O'Rourke's key suppliers to trade with them using Asite, as well as allowing the Laing O'Rourke users to use coins seamlessly with Asite in the background, speaking to the supply chain. So this integration would then allow Laing O'Rourke to connect to their existing preferred suppliers through Asite, whilst the users at Laing O'Rourke were still using coins. So Asite was plugged into the back of that to connect all of the systems in the background. As you heard Manisha mention, the Hub Alliance, so utilizing tools like that. The solution we delivered to them was to be able to exchange purchasing and accounting information electronically with all of their key suppliers. To place an order, Laing O'Rourke is able to select products from online catalogs issue online purchase orders via their existing purchasing application, in this case being the ERP system Coins. Just want to get this, move the screen a little bit. Sorry about that. The catalog is hosted on Asite and holds real-time product and pricing information, which eliminates the need for Langerock to manage its supplier catalogs. The suppliers can now receive purchase orders by simply logging onto Asite, where they can also generate and send invoices directly to Langerock's accounting system. Asite worked with both Langerock and most of its suppliers to identify how their existing processes could be integrated using Asite to ensure a smooth rollout of the technology. Users were fully trained by Asite to maximize the benefits of the solution. The benefits realized to date, so as Langerock continues to move towards strategic procurement, the use of Asite is assisting in making their business processes more efficient. It also provides improved procurement information within the organization and results in better financial control and profitability at the end of the day. And by integrating their purchasing application with Asite and enabling most of their supply chain, Langerock are now able to reduce invoice processing costs, or let's say purchasing department costs, up to 56%, resulting in an overall anticipated savings of 25% per transaction. And if you think of what a contract of that size manages to procure in a single financial year, those numbers do start to add up. The cost savings are realized through a number of factors. So in this case, Langerock will no longer have the task of catalog management. The suppliers are driven to upload their own catalogs, and it's a very easy process to the platform. And they benefit, Langerock in this case, benefit from a more efficient order placement process, and the accuracy of the orders are increased. It's very difficult to make mistakes in buying once you're shopping off an online catalog. There's pictures, there are specifications, the UNSPCC codes can be added to catalogs, etc. And then obviously invoices can be easily reconciled with purchase orders, so this all happens automatically on the system. And as they're received directly into the back office system, this eliminates the time taken to input them. It also eliminates duplication error, or human error if you like, so the three-way matching. Suppliers have also benefited from receiving purchase orders and returning invoices online, as they are able to fulfill the requirements of being a preferred supplier with the contractor in this case. In addition, order queries can be reduced, everything, requests for information, etc. This can all be online. And payment expedited through the auto matching of online orders and invoices. So your source to settle process has become much more simplified. And obviously because it's automated, it's far more streamlined, and the ability to create errors is reduced. Okay, so I'm going to pass back to Manisha now, and she's going to take you through a little bit of a different scenario. This is where e-procurement is used in the sense of a pre-qualification module, and then we have a tender module, and then a contract management module. So this is where people are procuring services from perhaps contractors or subcontractors, which is a little bit different to your normal order, invoice, and settlement process from material suppliers. So I'll be passing you back to Venetia for that.
Okay, just before I move on to our next case study, I just wanted to kind of talk about our investment in our infrastructure. Over the years, Asite has invested heavily in R&D for both application development and infrastructure. We've had to do this to support our global user base and meet government approvals for managing data both here and globally in the US and all of our other regions that we are working with our customers. So customers such as the Environment Agency and TfL, without these certifications, they would not be able to host and share that information and collaborate through the platform. So moving on to kind of why Transport for London use us and what they use Asite for as a platform. So just to kind of give you a brief history of Asite in TfL, we'll look at the business case, what we're currently doing with the teams and the clients, projects that we're working with, and what we're looking to do going forward. So in 2008, we had a contract with what was then known as Metronet, which is no longer. We had an interim contract to manage their contracts through the platform. So we kind of went through the process of agreeing the contracts, and we set up and developed and set up their NEC manager. So we've gone through a number of iterations as TfL had a lot of bespoke requirements and specific to their kind of legals, terms and terminology for the contract management suite. So we then later released the version 2, and we went to the stations was managing all of their contracts through the platform using the NEC ECC option A. We later released our version 3 for the big kind of station upgrade projects such as Tottenham Court Road, Bond Street, Victoria Station upgrades, and over the years we've provided that solution for Bank Street upgrades and a number of the other stations upgrades, as well as the infrastructure upgrades for TfL. We've also recently expanded the kind of solution, and they're now using more of the platform to manage all of their information through the system. So the business case was having a requirement to have all of their contracts and their information held in a single source. We found that teams were working different ways. Some were capturing variations and early warnings through Excel sheets. Some were just simply emailing those early warning notices and variations and conversation events and instructions. All of that information was being exchanged in different ways, and there was no central space, no central location to hold all of that information, which became an administration of those contracts a nightmare for TfL as a business, and it also led them to wanting to standardize the formats that they were receiving these notifications and communications in, and also from the management point of view to make it easier for them to measure KPIs throughout their supply chain. All of the information they wanted to make it available via a collaborative platform, so break down the barriers. So you can imagine with businesses and government businesses such as TfL, security has to be tight, so external supply chains, external contractors to access any of the systems would be a big task, and hence they chose a collaborative platform, making it easier for them to connect with the supply chain, with the contractors that they would be working with, without having to need to go through all the firewalls every time they wanted to connect a supplier. So this is kind of typically what they were seeing on a day-to-day basis. All the information flows were just everywhere. We had emails, faxes, there was papers being shared, and you can imagine with all the different offices from within the TfL business sites, it became a nightmare to manage all of these communications. So what we did was we came onto as a platform, and we centralized everything. So it was easy for any of the team members, any of the business teams, including the commercial team and management, to easily view and see and provide an overview for them to see what was happening on their contracts and what was happening with their supply chain. More importantly, they were collaboratively sharing information easily. So if we look at the contract types that we delivered for them, so it's all of the NEC options. We also delivered something that we like to call non-NEC, which is covering your JCT contracts, DMB contracts, so everything that outside of your traditional NEC contracts. They wanted a way to manage those that information, those workflows and those variations which we delivered. So if we take a look at the kind of the figures that we're talking about, this rises every day. So over £2.089 billion worth of contract values that have been managed through the system. So we're talking about kind of the highways agency contracts, all of the kind of local authority contracts that they're working on, including some of the Crossrail contracts that they've been also managing. This is all being managed through the platform using the contract management tool that we have on the platform. This has now risen to over 437 projects, and it rises each day as we've got new contracts coming on to the platform. So in a nutshell for them, Asite works. You can see some of the example projects that we've rolled it out on, the Northern Line upgrades, bank station upgrades, also kind of the cooling, the tube, that was one of the projects. We've also worked with them on Tottenham Court Roads, Victoria Station upgrades. So all of the new kind of upgrades and all the new stations that they will be doing will be done through the platform to make it easier management. So as I mentioned, we've got the kind of the London Highways Agency contract, so they are rapidly expanding that to manage more and more of their processes. Application for payments are all made through the platform, and the payments are made and this is certified through the platform, making it easier for them to match up and reconcile their cost breakdowns with what they're actually paying their supply chain on a month-to-month basis, making sure that programs are running on time, reducing the risks and the costs for all of their projects. Each day we have more and more users being trained across the platform for TfL, both in-house as well as external supply chain members. And we expect these to double very soon, if not already. So that comes to the end of our case study, and I believe the floor is now open for questions.
Thanks, Manisha. Okay, so we're going to start with some other things to consider when implementing your e-procurement solution. So remembering that we can integrate with a number of different solutions out there, including estimating systems. So if you're thinking from a contractor's point of view, we could get to a point where buyers were purchasing straight off the bill of materials or a BIM model like Manisha mentioned, and the reporting that could come out of that type of setup on the Adoddle platform, like your budget versus your actual spend on any given project at any given time. So the reporting and business intelligence you'd gain out of that would be phenomenal. We've just had a question come in. So what is the typical supplier setup and the steps you would take? Manisha, over to you.
So from a supplier setup, the first thing we would look at is what your existing systems are, what your capabilities are. We would identify what's working for you, what's not working for you in those existing systems, and look to provide a solution for that. It might be simple setup to start off with, where we are using the out-of-the-box platform where we can easily upload a catalog template with your prices, connect your buyer to the platform, and you're up and running with orders coming through, and you can use the platform to send good receipts send good advance ship notice, good receipts notes can be received, and then invoices issued on the back of that. And then we would sort of take that and see where we can kind of integrate you to back office systems if that's what your requirement is.
Awesome, thanks, Manisha. And then I suppose the other flip side of the coin is from the buyer side. So if I were a medium-sized contractor or property developer, what are my setup steps there if I've got a back office system in place?
So from a buyer's perspective, we would take a look at what you have as your procurement systems, what you're using currently, whether you're doing kind of the traditional order process where you're phoning through orders. Again, the platform has the facility for you to browse the catalogues, add your items to a basket and send your purchase orders through. We would then work with your supply chain to see how we can connect your supply chain easily, whether there be a simple solution where they come onto the platform to receive the orders, or whether it's an end-to-end integration where you as the buyer are raising the orders in-house or through the platform, and us sitting in the middle as an exchange hub that translates all these different messages for you so you can easily receive them onto the Adoddle platform or through your back office systems.
Awesome, thanks, Manisha. We've not really received any other questions, so what I will do is we're going to release a recording of the webinar onto the website later today, and then if you have any questions in the interim, just pop an email to marketing@asite.com, and we'll have one of the professional services or one of the sales team member contact you with the questions, should they be of a technical nature or of a marketing nature. We've just had one question come in. Manisha, can Asite work for procurement strategy? In other words, going to tender with a pre-qual phase, responding to queries, contract appraisal and qualification, and then selection, and then tendering and uploading contract particulars, etc. So this question is from Emma. Over to you, Manisha.
Thanks, Tracy. Yes, so we can start the process, and we provide a solution at any point, right from sort of pre-qualification. We have a solution where you can use our standard out-of-the-box questions to pre-qualify your supply chain, or we can take your questions and import them in, and then you can manage the full pre-qualifications, assessing them, putting your evaluations, your scores, and then once you've got your pre-approved suppliers, it's going through the tender process. Your tender could be just through the pre-approved supply chain, or you can also invite external parties through the tender process, and you can do external invitations. It also manages the full PFQ process, where you would get the queries, you would have responses, you would issue clarifications, also addendums for tenders. Once you've awarded your tender, so you've evaluated your tender, be it a sealed or an unsealed tender, you would then go through the awarding process, and all of that information, that communication, will be managed through the platform for it to then become a contractual agreement on the platform, using our contract manager to then manage all of your other contractual communications and particulars as required. You would then extend that platform and manage all of your supply chain. So we also have a suppliers database which allows you to track which suppliers and vendors are approaching the expiry dates for insurances, certificates. So you can manage all of that throughout the platform, making it easier for you. You will also get reminders through the platform to say, these certificates are due to expire, or these vendors need pre-qualifying, be it a year or two later, because you've gone through the process and it's now outdated. So you've got all of that management through the platform.
Awesome, thanks, Manisha. Okay, guys, well, thanks for joining us today. And like I said, if there are any further questions, please don't hesitate to email marketing@asite.com, and I'll make sure one of the team get back to you on your questions. And thanks for joining us and taking time out of your busy day. I hope e-procurement is a lot clearer and made a lot simpler, and we look forward to any queries. Thanks for joining us. That's a wrap, folks.